to put their cell phones on silent. And as we start, one of the things that we've been doing is going to our YouTube channel so that we can boost our, and you don't turn it. I ask you to please take your seats and turn off your cell phones if they are still on. And now, good morning to those of you here in our sanctuary and to those of you viewing us online. My name is Raina Bick, and I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist congregation of Flint. We're a progressive, LGBTQ+ affirming religious community in which people are encouraged to be themselves. If you'd like more information about our faith tradition or this congregation, please feel free to talk with one of our ministers by contacting them via their contact information found at uuflint.org. Visitors are especially invited to attend coffee hour downstairs today. It'll be after the service. And please speak to any of our members who'd be happy to tell you more about this place we call our spiritual and faith home. You may also sign up for our weekly email newsletter by visiting our website, scanning the QR code on the order of service, or by completing this colorful card that you should see in the back of the pews. When you leave, if you will take this card and place it back on the table and by the 2 donation baskets, we will make sure we don't miss it. We'll get your name on our email list. Please see the back of the order for some important announcements, but I'd like to highlight a few that are really important. Please consider joining us at a peace vigil at St. Paul's Episcopal Church on Saginaw Street in Flint on September the 29th. A doctor who worked in a hospital in Gaza will speak via live stream with an online presentation. The event is at 6, but we'll meet here for a pizza, those of you who wish to, at 4:30. And then we can carpool to St. Paul's. Please email or call the office if you will be with us for pizza, so we make sure we have enough. If you have food sensitivities like me, you can always say, can we have non-cheese cheese, please, on one of those pizzas? Number 2, want to do something good for the world with or without some good exercise at the same time? Well, you have an opportunity to join the Crop Hunger Walk on October 6th at Court Street United Methodist Church, and it will be at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. This is a nationwide movement sponsored by Church World Service to raise funds to end hunger and poverty. You can either contribute to the cause and or walk with us. So if you'll see Chris Monk at the table out in the entryway, or possibly down in the social hall after service, she will have donation slips, more information on what is involved. It can be a lot of fun. For those who can't walk, in the past, they've had rocking chairs. And so I can remember taking my mother-in-law, who was 96, and she sat with another church member who were having mobility problems, and they rocked for the hour it took us to walk. So please consider having a little fun while doing some good. Number 3, important announcement. Join us as we raise our voices in song in this critical election year. Sing Out the Vote happens right here on October 11th at 7 p.m. Get your ticket by making a donation out to the local Planned Parenthood. The tickets will be available on Sundays after service or at the church office or at the door. There's no specific amount listed for the tickets, so I think it's a donation, but we're asking everybody to dig deep and give everything they can to support a good cause, our local Planned Parenthood. And now, I'd like to light our chalice. With the kindling of this flame, we reaffirm our commitment to accept life's gifts with grace and gratitude, and to use them to bless the world with the spirit of love. Amen. And now if you'll join me in reciting our covenant. Recognizing the richness of diversity, the beauty and wonder of shared worship, the transforming power of love and service, we gather as a sacred, intentional community to freely seek knowledge and truth, to celebrate the fullness of life, and by our actions to increase goodness and justice. And now it's my pleasure to vacate the pulpit and turn over our morning service to a wonderful group, Voices of the Revolution.
Good morning. Good morning. I love a congregation that you don't have to ask to feedback. We'll be fine today. Thank you, and I'd like to thank the UU Church for inviting the Voices of the Revolution here. I want to thank the congregation. Thank you for coming. Just a brief, I'll introduce us. I am Lisa Sarno, and this is Terry Muniz. Good morning. This is Sheila Burtz. Good morning. Good morning, Sheila. This is Kim Griffin. Good morning, Kim. Susan Harris. Good morning, Susan. Rulaine Stokes. Good morning, Rulaine. And we have a member who's not here, hopefully is joining us through the airwaves, and that's Lori Hollinger. Good morning, Lori. Okay, thank you. Today we came to pay honor and tribute to a woman, Bernice Johnson Reagon, who died on July 16th of this year. You might know Bernice through Sweet Honey in the Rock, right? That might be your entryway into Bernice. But we plan to walk you through some of Bernice's contributions in life. Bernice Johnson Reagon called herself an activist first and a singer second. All right, her work, her commitment to social justice, her lifelong commitment to social justice is not just one single person's accomplishment that we marvel at. It's the clearing of a path for all of us. And that path we have to keep clearing for the next. Walking in your footsteps. Had a slide to go with it, so that'd be great. But anyway, Bernice was known for her voice. Unshakable, right? Unwavering in the direct face of threat. very real threat: racism, the Klan, angry mobs, right? The doctrine of her very own church, of what she grew up in. Bernice taught others. That's what she did. She led others. She worked with others. She unified others. And oftentimes she unified people who were very different from herself. We must also walk in those footsteps. History has a lesson for us, right? To ignore the grassroots work of our society, to sit down and give up in the face of the threat to our way of life, at this time, we find unacceptable. We must walk in these footsteps now and keep walking. Keep walking. Some of us will rise to the challenge in this upcoming election, right? We'll acknowledge the need to push, to fight, to do our best in ushering in election results that soothe us, that make us feel safe, that will lull us back into our own self-centeredness, our single self towards purpose. But that won't do. We have to plan on keep clearing a path so others can walk in our footsteps. We have to see past election results. Somebody will win. Someone will win that night. We have to set our sights on the work of others before us and make it our business to reach out to others who don't quite sing the same songs we do. They don't quite say the same things we do. We have to continue to build unions, even in the face of threat. Unions with each other are the most important. The arduous work of learning to unify with others despite the differences that we have. So our work today is one that pushes the idea of Unitarianism, the benchmark of embracing all people equally in search of the truth. It'll take everything we have. It'll take everything we have to continue to work with others through this election cycle, through the election results. We got to keep cutting that path. We have to keep walking. We have to lead in the footsteps so others will have footsteps in the future to follow, walking in your footsteps. Bernice Johnson Reagon is a woman we pay tribute to today, through our own words, through others' words. She's deeply committed to activism. Other people like the late, great poet June Jordan. You'll hear Lucille Clifton today, Ada Limon, the continuing voices, people like Andrea Gibson. Learning how to listen to others, no matter how their voices shake you or their slogans upset you. Seeing humanity today in its full conversation and not just echoed sentiments that comfort us. Walking in your footsteps. We invite the message of Unitarian Universalism today to consider as we move towards our job of clearing a path in our democracy. Walking in our footsteps. Thank you. If you would please, we'll try to loosen up a little bit. How about we have a little sing? So we'd like to join us in singing this little light of mine. Sheila, we're going to ask for your help on that. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, again, I'd like to introduce Sheila Burks, member of Voices of the Revolution, a poet, a singer, and we have worked out a song. If you don't know the lyrics, that's okay. If you do, feel free to sing along. Everyone in here is allowed to sing except myself. I hear it.
That's not true.
You take your cues where you can.
That's not true. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never. Can we start over, please? Can we start over? I love you, Lord, for your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I'm gonna sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice, 'cause you have led me through the fire in darkest nights. You are close like no other. I've known you as a father, I know you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. 'Cause all my life you have been faithful, and all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I'll surrender now. I'll give you everything. Your goodness is running after me. 'Cause all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I'll sing of the goodness of God. Sing of the goodness of God. Oh, sing of the goodness of God.
Thank you.
Dr. Bernice Johnson Reagon. For more than a half a century, Bernice Johnson Reagon was a major cultural voice for freedom and justice, singing, teaching, speaking out against racism and organized inequities of all kinds. A cultural historian, activist, and a self-described songteller. A child of Southwest Georgia, an African-American woman's voice born in the struggle against racism in America during the civil rights movements of the 50s and 60s. Reagan's life and work supports the concept of community-based culture with an enlarged capacity for mutual respect for self, for those who move among us who seem different than us, respect and care for our home, the environment, including the planet that sustains life as we know it. Next slide, please. Thank you. She was born October 4th, 1942, in Dougherty County, Georgia, the daughter of a Baptist minister. Church and school were an integrated part of life. She grew up in a church without a piano, which led her to use her hands and feet in a cappella singing. She was in her first gospel group at age 11. Her political activism began in college. Dr. Johnson Reagon attended Albany State College and began studying music in 1959. In 1960, as student council representative, she demanded that the Albany State administration address issues of safety for women students at the historically Black college who were being harassed by local white men. She was arrested in 1962 for civil rights organizing activities and suspended from Albany College. She later enrolled in Spelman College, but left to join the Albany Quintet. The quintet became the Freedom Singers. She co-founded and served as secretary with the local NAACP and later the Students Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC. She served as field secretary for SNCC and was a founding member of the Freedom Singers in 1962. They were the first civil rights singers to travel nationally. Her songs were the soundtrack to the civil rights movement, sung on buses by freedom riders, sung in churches, at sit-ins, in the streets, and jails to speak back to their jailers. The Freedom Singers performed at the March on Washington in 1963.
Good morning.
Good morning. See that?
Yes, yes. Dr. Johnson Reagon was also a poet and, as we mentioned earlier, a songwriter. I'm going to read a poem that's called Ella's Song. It is also the lyrics and music was done by her along with Sweet Honey and the Rock. The song is dedicated to Ella Baker, who was a mentor of Dr. Johnson Reagon. She was also a civil rights activist and co-founder of the Southern Christian Leadership, which is headed by Martin Luther King Jr. She was also a member of the NAACP and instrumental in founding SNCC, as Terry just read. The poem is entitled Ella's Song. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Until the killing of Black men, Black mothers' sons, is as important as the killing of white mothers and white mothers' sons. White men, excuse me. That which touches me most is that I had a chance to work with people, passing on to others that which was passed on to me. To me, young people come first. They have the courage where we fail. And if I can but shed some light as they carry us through the gale. The older I get, the better I know that the secret of my going on is when the reins are in the hands of the young who dare to run against the storm. Not needing to clutch for power, not needing to shine on me, I need to be one in a number as we stand against tyranny. Struggling myself don't mean a whole lot. I've come to realize that teaching others to stand up and fight is the only way my struggle survives. I'm a woman who speaks in a voice and I must be heard. At times I can be quite difficult. I'll bow to no man's word. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes.
Good morning. Sweet Honey in the Rock. Founded in 1973 as an all-woman African-American a cappella ensemble, the name is derived from a passage in Psalm 81 where the people will be fed with finest wheat and honey out of the rock. Dr. Johnson Reagon likened the harmonizing of 4 female voices to the power and sweetness in the rock. She served as director of this Grammy-nominated ensemble until 2003. Sweet Honey was one of the first groups to integrate ASL interpreters as part of their performances, and also incorporating dance as well as the a cappella singing. The group continues to this day singing truth to power. Dr. Johnson Reagon was also a musician and a scholar. Prior to founding Sweet Honey, Dr. Johnson Reagon co-founded the Hamburg Singers, a choral group, in 1966. This group grew out of the Black consciousness movement, bringing attention to South African apartheid and US segregation. She earned her doctorate in American history from Howard University in 1975. While completing her PhD, she founded and directed the program in African American culture at the Smithsonian Museum of American History. I don't know how many of you have known or have pursued your own doctorates, but it's a lot of work. just a little bit. And to also direct a program at one of the nation's foremost museums at the same time one is pursuing a doctorate, hats off to Dr. Johnson Reagon. While at the Smithsonian, she produced a 3-record set entitled Voices of the Civil Rights Movement, Black Freedom Songs from 1960 to 1966. She was named a MacArthur Fellow in 1989, and some of you may know that the MacArthur Fellowship is also known as the Genius Award. She was a distinguished professor of history at the American University from 1993 to 2003. So, these little factoids really don't do justice to the greatness that was Bernice Johnson Reagon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Birthday by the great poet Lucille Clifton. Today we are possible. The morning, green and laundry sweet, opens itself, and we enter blind and mewling. Everything waits for us. The snow kingdom, sparkling and silent in its glacial cap. The cane fields, shining and sweet in the sun-drenched south. As the day arrives with all its clumsy blessings, what we will become waits in us like an ache.
I'd like to read a poem to you by a poet out of Boulder, Colorado, named Andrea Gibson. Name of this poem is See Through. We're on our way back to school from gymnastics class, and only in Boulder, Colorado are the kids singing John Lennon's Imagine at the back of the bus. When Jessie stops herself, mid-verse, stretches her arm across the aisle like a sunbeam, tugs at the edge of my shirt and asks, Andrea, what does hatred mean? Jessie is 5 years old. Anything I say, she is going to believe. But I realize I don't know the answer. I'm not sure what hatred means. I could guess and say it's the opposite of love. I could guess and say, Jessie, hatred is why there are nothing but white faces on this private school bus. But Jessie isn't white yet. Go ahead and ask her, what color are you, Jessie? Well, it looks like I'm pink. Shane thinks he's orange. Skylar says he's tan. And Rhett says he's see-through. See, you can see how my veins are blue, but when I bleed, they're red. And I wish there was no such thing as springtime, because I don't trust the machines that will one day be planting seeds in these gardens, teaching them that some people are flowers and some are weeds. Rip the weeds out by their roots, ignore their screams. Tilt your face up to face the sun. Take what you want. You are the chosen ones. Sitting Bull said that white people are liars and thieves. I'd like to tell Jessie he was wrong. I'd like to tell her we didn't come like a time bomb, gunpowder on our breath, teeth like bullets, that this land didn't weep when our feet first fell mercilessly down. I don't want to say we drowned and maimed the children, sliced long strips of their skin for bridal reins. I don't want to say the moon was slain, the constellations dispersed like shrapnel. Mothers learned to kill their babies, then killed themselves when they saw our faces on the horizon. And all that we left was a trail of tears. But if I have to say that I want to say our boats stopped there, I want to say Africa never saw our sails, the waves never heard the sound of chain link. But Jessie, think slaughterhouse, think people branded, suffocating, foaming at the mouth. Can you imagine what kind of pain you would have to endure to throw yourself overboard 2,000 miles out to sea, lungs gratefully engorged with salt water? Can you imagine being chained to your dead daughter? How many days would it take you to stop searching her hands for lifelines, to stop searching her fingertips for memories of sunshine, to stop searching her wrists for a pulse, for just one sign of time turning backwards to when you knew people would never do this? And this is not just a picture of our history, not just a picture of our past. We've been hundreds of years measuring the size of our hearts by the size of our fists, erecting our bliss on the broken backs of dark skin. That present is far from gift wrapped. Ask New Orleans, Ask mothers in the South Bronx chasing rats out of their babies' cribs. Ask the fathers of kids whose lives we exchanged for cheap gas. Ask our prisons why jail bars always come in black. Ask Afghanistan, Palestine, Iraq. Ask the woman in Thailand whose cancer builds our laptops. Ask the Mexican man working in a field fertilized by nerve gas. Ask his daughter when she's born without fingers or hands to pray with. Ask me how long I could keep going with this list. God might be watching, but we are not. You are white, Jesse. There are bodies dangling from the limbs of your family tree. Our people pull from their soil like seeds. Breathe into our story. Force yourself to hold it in your lungs till you can hear the hymns sung beneath the white sheets, till you can feel your own finger on the trigger of the gun. Feel yourself fire as they shout, do not look away as the bullet enters heartbeat. Now, breathe out. This is where we come from. This is still where we are. Now, where will we go from here? I don't believe we're hateful. I think we're mostly just detached. But the math adds up the same. We can't call up the dead and say sorry. We were looking the other way. There are names and faces behind our apathy, eulogies beneath our choices. There are voices deep as roots, thundering unquestionable truth against the white noise that pacifies our ears. The voices are clear. Don't tell me you don't hear. Don't tell me you don't hear. Don't tell me you don't hear the moon being slain, the constellations dispersing like shrapnel. Don't you think it's time something changed?
I'm going to read a piece by June Jordan, who was also worked as a civil rights activist alongside Dr. Johnson Reagon. This poem is actually dedicated to one of her students, poem for Sri Ram Samansunder, and all of Poetry for the People. It's entitled, It's Hard to Keep a Clean Shirt Clean. It's a sunlit morning with jasmine blooming easily and a drove of robin redbreasts diving into the ivy, what used to be a backyard fence, or doves shoving aside the birch tree leaves when a young man walks among the flowers to my doorway, where he knocks, then stands still, brilliant in a clean white shirt. He's come to say, this was or that was not, and what's any of us to do about what's done, what's past, but prickling salt to sting our eyes? What's any of us to do about what's done? A 7-month-old bingo puppy leaps and hits the clean white shirt with muddy paw prints here and there. And what's any of us to do about what's done? I say, I'll wash the shirt, no problem. 2 times through the delicate blue cycle of an old machine. The shirt spins in the soapy suds and spins and rinse and spins out dry. Not clean, still marked by accidents, by energy of whatever serious or trifling cause, the shirt stays dirty from that puppy's paws. I take that fine white shirt from India, the threads as soft as baby's fingers weaving together, and I wash that shirt between the knuckles of my own 2 hands. I scrub and rub that shirt to take the dirty markings out at the pocket, around the shoulder seam, and on both sleeves. The dirt, the paw prints tantalize my soap, my water, my sweat equity, invested in the restoration of a clean white shirt. And on the 11th try, I see no more. No anything unfortunate, no dirt. I hold the limp, fine cloth between the faucet stream of water, as transparent as a wish the moon stayed out all day. How small it has become, that clean white shirt. How delicate, how slight, how like a soft fist knocking on my door. And now I hang the shirt to dry, as it slowly needs the air to work its way with everything. It's clean, a clean white shirt. Nobody wanted to spoil or soil that shirt. Much cleaner now, but also not the same as the first before that shirt got hit, got hurt, not perfect anymore, just beautiful. A clean white shirt. It's hard to keep a clean shirt clean.
This is also a poem by June Jordan. Bernice Johnson Reagon and June Jordan were good friends and allies and fighting injustice around the world. And this is Poem for South African Women, in commemoration of 40,000 women and children who, August 9th, 1956, presented themselves in bodily protest against the Domas in the capital of apartheid. This was presented at the United Nations, August 9th, 1978. Our shadows disappear as the feet of thousands by tens of thousands pound the fallow land into new dust that, rising like a marvelous pollen, will be fertile, even as the first woman whispering imagination to the trees around her made for righteous fruit, from such deliberate defense of life as no other still will claim inferiority to any other safety in the world. The whispers, too, they intimate to the inmost ear of every spirit, now aroused, they carousing in ferocious affirmation of all peaceable and lovable amplitude, and sound a certainty, unbounded heat from a baptismal smoke where, yes, there will be fire. And the babies cease alarms as mothers raising arms and heart as the stars so far unseen, nevertheless hurl into the universe a moving force, irreversible as light years traveling to the open eye. And who will join this standing up? And the ones who stood without sweet company will sing and sing back into the mountains, and if necessary, even under the sea. We are the ones we have been waiting for.
This is a poem that I wrote as I've sat with myself over this last year and with my ancestors and really got into more poetry. I found myself being different and challenging myself. 30,000 fish, 10,000 birds, 1,000,000 bugs, one you. Imagine being created, fashioned, formed by someone, something that wars are waged over, and you choose to live less than. You live less than when your presence, your voice, your laugh, your song, your ideas, you. Imagine a life where you do the thing, write the book, start the business. I was created, we were created by bigness, by vastness, who wars are waged over. So surely I must be more. Imagine.
You've been wonderfully attentive. We'd like to push the energy up again and ask you to join us in one of your own hymnals on page 107, Singing for Our Lives, what's also known as We Are Gentle, Angry People. I'd like to invite Stephanie Hazley Sarno up to sing Sheila Birds, and we're all going to sing together.
And we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. Singing, singing for our lives.
Thank you. This also is a poem written by June Jordan. June Jordan, again, who worked alongside Bernice, wrote this poem for Bernice, and then Sweet Honey in the Rock recorded it. It's called Ought to Be a Woman. Washing the floors to send you to college, staying at home so you can feel safe. What do you think is the soul of her knowledge? What do you think that makes her feel safe? Biting her lips, lowering her eyes to make sure there's food on the table. What do you think would be her surprise if the world were as willing as she's able. Hugging herself in an old kitchen chair, she listens to your hurt and your rage. What do you think she knows of despair? What's the aching of age? The fathers, the children, the brothers turn to her, and everybody white turned to her. What about her turning around, alone in the everyday light? There ought to be a woman who can break down, sit down, break down, sit down. Like everybody else, call it quits on Monday, blues on Tuesday, sleep until Sunday. Sit down, break down, sit down. A way out of no way is flesh out of flesh, courage that cries out at night. A way out of no way is flesh out of flesh, bravery kept out of sight. A way out of no way is too much to ask. It's too much of a task for any one woman.
This poem is entitled A New National Anthem. It is written by Ada Limon, who is our country's poet laureate. The truth is, I've never cared for the national anthem. If you think about it, it's not a good song. Too high for most of us with the rocket's red glare, and then there are the bombs. Always, always, there are war and bombs. Once, I sang it at a homecoming and threw off even the tenacious high school band. But the song didn't mean anything. Just a call to the field, something to get through before the pummeling of youth. And what of the stanzas we never sing? The third stanza that mentions no refuge could save the hireling and the slave. Perhaps the truth is, every song of this country has an unsung third stanza. Something brutal snaking underneath us as we blindly sing the high notes with the beer sloshing in the stands. Hoping our team wins. Don't get me wrong, I do like the flag, how it undulates in the wind like water, elemental, and best when it's humbled, brought to its knees, clung to someone who has lost everything. When it's not a weapon, when it flickers, when it folds up so perfectly you can keep it until it's needed, until you can love it again, until the song in your mouth feels like sustenance, a song where the notes are sung by even the ageless woods, the short grass plains, the Red River Gorge, the fistful of land left unpoisoned. That song that's our birthright, that's sung in silence when it's too hard to go on. That sounds like someone's rough fingers weaving into another's and sounds like a match being lit in an endless cave. The song that says, my bones are your bones and your bones are my bones. And isn't that enough?
Yes, thank you.
The great Joy Harjo became the first Native American to serve as U.S. Poet Laureate. And this is her poem. It's called Eagle Poem. To pray, you open your whole self to sky, to earth, to sun, to moon, to one whole voice that is you. And know there is more that you can't see, can't hear, can't know, except in moments steadily growing and in languages that aren't always sound, but other circles of motion. Like eagle that Sunday morning over Salt River, circled in blue sky, in wind, swept our hearts clean with sacred wings. We see you, see ourselves, and know that we must take the utmost care and kindness in all things. Breathe in, knowing we are made of all this, and breathe, knowing we are truly blessed because we were born, and die soon within a true circle of motion, like eagle rounding out the morning inside us. We pray that it will be done in beauty, in beauty.
Would you like time for generosity right now, Rena?
Okay. I'm sorry, I thought you were before me. I'm trying so hard to be graceful, you know? So hard. I have just a few more words about the civil rights movement, the role of songs, and Bernice Reagon's role in all of that. And this is a little, I was going on the web looking for, some story about Bernice Johnson that would just sort of capture what I felt. And I saw this video of a concert, of a song that the Freedom Singers were performing at the White House back in 2010. And so the Freedom Singers are up front, and in the front row, there's Barack and Michelle Obama right next to Sasha and Malia. Joe and Jill Biden are just down a little ways, and there's a distinguished audience just packed into that room under these glorious chandeliers. Well, Bernice started telling a story about an intense struggle against segregation in her hometown back in 1962. And there had been mass jailings of protesters, and at one point, a federal judge issued an injunction against the leaders of the movement. Bernice remembered that night, the Reverend Samuel Wells was in Silo Baptist Church, and he stated, "I'm not gonna let no injunction turn me round." Well, at the White House, Bernice and the Freedom Singers then started to sing, "I'm not gonna let nobody turn me round." And they are awesome singers. And they were in full voice, just 2 lines into the song. And Bernice started to wave her hands. And she said, "No, no, no." And she looked at the Obamas and the Bidens and all the dignitaries in that room. And she said, "I know this is a show, but you have to actually sing this song. You can never tell when you'll need it." So when the Freedom Singers began again, everybody in that room was singing in full voice. That song lives inside us, in our bodies and our minds. The true legacy of Bernice Reagon and the singers of the civil rights movement have been handed down to us, and that legacy is the physical memory inside our bodies of the songs of the civil rights movement. Despite the unbelievable and insane cruelty of the white power structure as it attempted to enforce segregation and the exploitation it made possible. Just countless people, all kinds of people, mostly African Americans, a few white people, lots and lots of people. They fought for freedom, giving us their examples, their speeches, their books, their photography, their songs and stories, their precious lives. I know there are a lot of times when I don't feel courageous, and I think all of us, from time to time, do not feel courageous because the The cruelty and the obstacles in this life are daunting, but the courage we need lives in these songs, and these songs live in our hearts, in our minds, in our bodies. So, when we need a little courage, let's remember Bernice Johnson Reagon. Let's open our mouths and sing.
Can you appreciate why I didn't want to interrupt that with a request for a donation? Our congregation is entirely self-governed and financially supported by the voluntary generosity of our members and friends. And to that end, please consider placing a gift in the baskets at the back of the church as you leave, or buy an online gift at uuflint.org. All gifts of your treasure, time, and talent are gratefully accepted. And I would remind folks that if you've missed the opportunity to donate to our second Sunday donation, which this month is the Genesee County Free Medical Clinic, please, there's still time. We don't send the check off to them till at the end of the month where we tally at everything. And then in October, one of our favorite charities, Motherly Intercession, that works with the incarcerated mothers and fathers at the county jail. They bring their children to visit. They have reading and tutoring programs. They offer so much wonderful support in an attempt to keep that family together despite incarceration. So that's coming up. Look for it in our newsletter. That will be October 2nd Sunday. So thank you for indulging me. And now I'd like to ask you to extinguish this for us and ask those of us that know to recite our words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Amen and blessed be. We sometimes take an opportunity at the end of our services to have a question and answer. And I'm wondering if you're willing to do that. Did you want to say a few more things or do another song or
Well, we are
what?
hoping that we have not advertised falsely, but we're hoping there's refreshments in the basement.
Yes, downstairs.
We were kind of hoping that we could just go down there and join and be open to any questions and just share, break bread together. So is that okay?
That's
so before we
perfectly
go,
fine.
I want to thank you so much. Again, this is Poet Laureate of Lansing, Elaine Stokes. Yes. Dr. Susan Harris, and poet, spoken word virtuoso Kim Griffin, singer, poet, performer Sheila Burks, poet Terry Muniz, and I'm Lisa Sarno. We will see you in the basement. Thank you. Stump, huh?